So when it comes to Dylan Raiola, and Jake, I want to get your thoughts on this. All right. Like, learn, it's so crazy that this is a thing. But I remember being in DC. My locker was right next to London Fletcher and Robert, our RG3. We're all three right next to each other. And I remember when Robert was a rookie, he was running around practice like crazy. Like, he was trying to run people over. We're like, hey, dude, you got a green jersey on. Just chill unless you want to take it off. He screamed at us, I'll take it off any day. And I was like, all right, let's do it. We never did that. But he kept the same mentality in games. And he did not slide. He did not run out of bounds. He was taking on anybody, anytime, anywhere, which is something you can respect. But he was like 205 pounds. You're a franchise quarterback. The NFL, it's different. Guys are bigger, faster, stronger. All right. You are the franchise quarterback. I looked at him one day. I'm like, if you get hurt, I'm going to kill you. That's exactly what I said to him. Obviously, I didn't mean it literally, but I was pretty serious and like, can you be smarter about how you're running around? Because that's really when the read option was first coming into the NFL. Remember, he was the NFC, I think he was the NFL Rookie of the Year. He kind of set the league on fire. We won our last 7 games, started out 3-6, won our last 7 games, won the NFC East, beat the Cowboys, Sunday Night Football, Week 17 to win the division, get home field in the first round of the playoffs. And he just kept running around in the games and would not slide, would not be smart, and was just, I respected it, but I hated it because he wasn't protecting himself, and he wasn't a big dude, and he just wouldn't listen to anybody. And we even tried to set him up with a Nationals baseball coach, the Washington Nationals pro baseball team out there, so they could teach him how to slide. I actually saw him try to slide one time. I've never seen, he's one of the most athletic human beings I've ever seen in my life. One of the most god-awful, ugly slides I've ever seen in my life. I couldn't understand how such an athletic guy couldn't slide. But he never played baseball. I grew up playing baseball, sliding from, I don't know, sliding's pretty easy for me, I guess, but I did it ever since T-ball when I was little. So for me, learning how to slide is apparently not easy to do if you didn't play baseball when you were young. It's apparently an art form. For me, I just kind of took these things for granted, being a baseball player growing up. But learning how to slide is a way to protect yourself as a quarterback. You can do the old, what was it, Kenny Pickett? He did it at Pitt, he did the fake slide, and then he got up and kept going. That's dirty. That should be illegal. If you're going to tell defensive players, and luckily nobody's done it since, or I'd make a bigger stink out of this. If you're going to tell defensive players, you can't hit that guy when he slides, you can't be doing a fake slide because now I'm stopping because I can't hit you, and you're taking advantage of it. But again, I haven't seen anybody do it since, so I'll let that lie. But learning how to slide, watch these guys. Watch Lamar Jackson specifically. He does it really well. Jaden Daniels is a little bit more, I guess, willing to take on contact, or young guy not smart enough to learn how to avoid it is another way to look at it, depending on how you want to see it. You got to keep in mind. I played in St. Louis with guys like Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt. These were receivers who would get the ball and run out of bounds. That blew my mind. I'm a Nebraska guy, blue collar, in your face, smash mouth, option, double teams all day. Bruises are badges of honor. Like, that was me. That was my first introduction to the NFL, and I was like, dude, these guys are Super Bowl champs, Hall of Famers, and why are they avoiding physical contact? That blew my mind. So for me, it was a culture shock within the football culture that I was now being introduced to in the NFL, because now it's about longevity. It's about being healthy. It's about your career. It's about being there the next week to help your team. You're also playing way more games back then. What I'm getting at is Dylan Raiola needs to learn when to slide after you've got the first down, not before. He needs to learn how to slide. He needs to learn how to protect himself. If teams are just going to play man-to-man and say, we're going to lock down your receivers, we don't care if our second and third level defenders' backs are to you, feel free to take off, which several teams did that, and then he started to take off, then you've got to be willing, when appropriate, to fight for that extra yard, which is learning when to fight for it, when to be smart with your body, and then when it is time to lower the shoulder, how do you do that? Okay, let's be smart about it. But when you slide, how do you do that appropriately? Because Steve, when I spoke with Steve Taylor yesterday, he was just like, man, it's crazy to me that they're doing this. And I'm like, watch them. Watch these guys in these playoff games. Watch them. They are very smart with their bodies. They'll run out of bounds at the appropriate time. Every once in a while, like I saw Jaden Daniels with the game on the line, lower his shoulder, but I didn't see him do it much the rest of the game against the Bucs. Okay, and watch them. They all know how to slide, which apparently isn't as easy as I thought it was when I was little. But this is such a simple skill that is apparently not so simple, and that's okay. Everybody's different. There's things I didn't grow up doing that I'm pretty awful at today. All right. But it's an important skill for a quarterback. How, when, and how does this become one of my tools that I can use that can help make me a more dynamic runner? Because you're going to know how to take care of yourself, which means you're more likely to run. You're more likely to take advantage of what the defense is going to give you. And now it's more of an issue for the defense, and you're going to be healthy, and you're going to be an asset, and you're going to be ready for the next play. And it's something the defenses have to be concerned about. Did I kind of explain that all fairly well there, Jake?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it is definitely a skill that you have to learn in modern day college football. It does make you wonder. I know it's all about protecting the quarterback, but if you were really to open up the field, then the quarterbacks shouldn't be allowed to slide. They should, take the hits. That should be part of the game in my mind. If you're going to, run the ball and get those yards, that's going to be part of it is taking a lick. But specifically for what we've got going on, now, that is something that Dylan has to work on. And I think, they between Holgerson and him, they kind of said working on his body but that's just a big part of it. It's the escapability in the pocket, all that sort of stuff that can unlock the next level of his game. But yeah, sliding has to be second nature, because if you're doing that, that's why I kind of brought it up, is that you can take a much worse hit sliding if you're not doing it well or you don't time it well than just taking a normal contact tackle.
Yeah, look at the Boston College game. I mean, that's a perfect example of an ill-timed slide. You know what I mean? So it's one of these things that it was interesting just in conversation with Steve yesterday, and watching Dylan struggle with this, when to slide, how to slide. The timing of the slide was honestly his bigger issue. Robert just flat out didn't know how to slide and refused to, other than the one time I saw him try to do it. And it's like, man, this is a very basic skill that I feel like we could teach these kids and they'd instantly be better for it. They're going to be safer. They're going to be more of a headache for defenses. And I feel like if they could just get better at this one thing, it wouldn't take much time. I think it actually would be something that would actually make a difference in the game, as silly as that sounds.